Okay, cool. Boom. So we are going to do a market review of a trade I took today. Beautiful trade. Um, really, really good trade. Took it live. So that is in the live recording from today, the 8th of September. So let's go through it. All right, let's see what I saw. Let's go through what I did and what I didn't do. So coming into the day, honestly thought we would go potentially a little bit lower into this wick and then look to go higher. That was not the case, and I'll explain why I thought not. On the 15 minute is a little bit easier to see. All right. So coming into the day, the 15 minute, right, we were here at 9:30, 9:15, somewhere in here. I thought we would come in to the Asian low, which is this point here. Sorry, London low, before we ultimately went to go higher, and this is the Asian low. Wait, where did it? Yeah, I thought we would come down here at a minimum, these equal lows, sorry, before going higher. That wasn't the case, but it is what it is. So let's kind of break it down what I was seeing. I saw that we had these equal highs in here, so I thought we'd sweep these, then come back lower, sweep these equal lows, and then proceed higher up to the target, which is these highs over here. Now, on a 5 minute, you can see that price is kind of doing its own thing. There was nothing in here at all for what I was looking for. So let's actually go down to 9:30 and run through price, right, and what I was seeing. So this is on the 1 minute, mainly because I trade on 1 minute. So what we got open here at 9:30. Price pushes up higher, pushes lower. Then we ultimately come up here. We start pushing. We go higher. Now, some would say, look, this is a FEG here. Why didn't you take this one? Well, mainly because it's too large. If I take an FEG like this, right, which it clearly worked out, but if I were to take an FEG like this, all right, my stop, well, first off, my entry would be up here. My stop would have to be below the candle that broke through the FEG, just like that. And my target, I have no idea. Let's just say it's the same target, right, up here. I'm only looking at a 1.5 R. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't take a trade unless I have a minimum of 1 and 2. Really and truly, 1 to 2.2, 2.3 is kind of the lowest I'd go. So yeah. So this one was kind of invalid to me because of how large it was and where the target would have been. So we come to price. There's absolutely nothing. We are creating a lot of order blocks. Price comes down in here. I say, all right, cool. We have this super liquidity. I was looking at this one to go higher, and I was like, my issue with it is that there's no liquidity taken. Right? I'm not viewing this as liquidity. Really and truly, I'm not really even viewing this as liquidity. The only liquidity area is this point down here. So I was patient, let price kind of roll, and I was like, okay, it's not giving me anything. Where's an FEG so that we can potentially inverse? Once price came down here and we ultimately swept this low, I was like, all right, what is it that I have? Is there anything that makes sense? I was like, oh, okay, we have a 15-minute FEG. If it is that price wants to go higher, we're going to want to react from this. Okay, cool. Minimum target is this high. Why? Because if price is coming back down here to go higher, it's got to target something, and that's where the liquidity is. So, come back into our FEG, and I'm like, all right, bet. Now I just have to get an entry. Where's my entry? What type of entry can I look for? Well, I have this one here. Price comes up, closes above. I don't know how I got this entry, but I did. You can see where my arrow is right where my thing is at. 238500, 238500. So that's where my entry's at. Stop is below the candle that broke through the inverse, or broke through the FEG. So my stop's below here. We came close, and I was like, in the moment, I was like, yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a loss. And then we pushed away in this candle, and then we came all the way back. I was like, ah, man, we're going straight down for this stop loss. But I left it open, and I said, you know what? Trust the process, because if it does take off, I'm gonna be pissed. One, but two, there's nothing that has been invalidated yet. My invalidation point is this low, which is the in theory how I've done in back testing and how it's worked for me is if we have a low of the candle that breaks through the FEG itself, your stop below there, price should not come below it. And I put it about 2-3 ticks below just to make sure there's no slippage or anything. Although in futures you don't really get slippage, but you never know. You never know. So I just try to keep it safe. And price kept running. Now, here, right? Why do I have this as a break even? Honestly, for no real reason. This break even is non-consequential at all. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. But what has rhyme or reason is this point. So I looked at it like this. Price came down lower, pushed up, ultimately came back down, and I said, all right, cool. Once we close here, I'm going to break even. And it wasn't until price came all the way up here that we did, and that's when I went break even. The 50%. So one is this is the order block, or the only order block in this entire down leg. So I thought we might get some form of reaction from it, as well as that's about 50% of the range, right? So I said, you know what, 50%, boom, we'll take that. And then my target was the highs, and you can see that we got out pretty much smack on it. And this one we got out a little bit better than the 50%. That was a manual close, this one actually, and it worked out pretty well. And that is essentially the trade. So really and truly, it is a continuation off of a FEG, a 15-minute FEG, with my inverse being the entry, and my targets and break-even points all on there. And yeah, actually very, very fast trade. Very fast trade. 8 minutes, 7R, I think it was. Yeah, 7.7R. Yeah, honestly, looking back at it, I probably could have risked more, especially where my entry was. My entry was crazy. Probably could have looked to risk probably around 2 more contracts, but it is what it is. Take the win, keep it pushing, and on to the next one. So yeah, that's a trade recap from today, the 8th of September 2025.